Bernie Sanders and AOC get just 2% each in 2024 Iowa Democratic caucuses poll without Biden. That's a Newsweek story, okay? So even though there are distant long shot in a new survey of Iowa Democratic National Presidential Caucuses, that does not include President Joe Biden. The poll released Monday by Republican firm Victory Insights shows both progressive lawmakers with 2% support each. Vice President Kamala Harris is the clear front runner at 28%, with Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg following at 15%, and former First Lady Michelle Obama at 12%. Undecided was the second most popular choice overall at 16%, with 5% saying they would vote for someone else. Biden was far and away the top choice when he was included in the poll with 63% support. The poll was conducted over the phone among 600 Iowa Democrats on April 8th. Thoughts?
You know, ignorance is bliss. That's for sure. To live in a world where people are going to feed into your victimhood mentality, the world's against me mentality. It's an easy life to live because you can just sit there and blame everybody for your misfortunes or for your bad decision making. And then when you have somebody with 12.1 million views, 12.1 million followers, that can say, yes, you're right, you're a victim. Actually, I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed in people's idiocy, but I'm not surprised that she's getting that much clout because most of America, or not most, I'm sorry, let me retract that. A lot of Americans are self-pity type of people. They believe in institutional racism. They believe that there's a government out to get them, which I don't believe any of that bullshit. I just don't. It just, and maybe it's because I've lived through it. I'm a Hispanic immigrant from Michoacán, Mexico. I actually come from one of the most cartel war-torn parts of Mexico. And I dropped out of high school. I was incarcerated 13 years ago, and here I am sitting in front of you. And nobody gave me anything. We were never on government assistance. My mom was a single mom, taking care of 2 kids. She took care of me and Alejandro, working 2 jobs. She sold tequila, and she was a waitress. My mom didn't know what government assistant was. So therefore, we survived that. And here I am, as a top 1% income earner of America with no help from the government ever. So I can't, it's very hard for me to buy in. Well, a lot of people, I understand if you're second generation wealth, how you can say, well, you were born into money. I get that, but we were not born into money. Me and Alejandro, now we're both part of the 1%, thanks to your help and your coaching. So what I'm getting at is that if you put yourself in the right environment and put yourself around the right people, then you're going to win. But a lot of people are going to buy into there's no opportunities. If you can't find opportunities in America, where the hell else are you going to find them? You're screwed. This is if people come here, migrate here. If I'm not mistaken, the number was 91 million people come here a year, either passing through or staying here. They're coming here. I mean, if people are dying on the way up from the south of the border to get here, there's a reason why they're doing that. Nobody's migrating to China. Nobody's migrating to Germany. They're migrating here. So if you can't, as an American, find an opportunity in America, what the hell are you going to do with your life? We are the beacon of capitalism, free enterprise, and entrepreneurship. And if you can't do it here, you're screwed. And I'm glad that, Elon Musk is calling himself the Emperor of Mars because that's the only other place you can go. You can't do it here. Where the hell else are you going to do it?
Well played, Richard.
Oh my God. You need to go to another planet.
So maybe let me ask you a different question. By the way, AOC is born October 13th. I'm very surprised she's a Libra because we're 5 days apart. She's 13, I'm 18, right? But she's born October 13th, 1989. She is 31 years old. Right. 4 years from now, she'll be 35 years old. It's the age to be able to be a president, yes. The way they're doing the math. Apparently, if she is in this poll, that means she is eligible to run if she chose to. But this is more importantly, I think the question. Let's say, okay, let's run a poll. Let's run a poll. I'm actually curious with everybody here that's watching this. Let's run a poll, okay? How likely is it that in the next 40 years, AOC, who's only 31 today, in the next 40 years, she's 71. How many elections does she have in the next 40 years? 10 shots.
10 shots.
Okay, well, if it's a 2-term, all that other stuff, fine. But let's just say she's got 10 shots, right? What is the likelihood of AOC in the next 40 years to be the president of the United States? Next 40 years. Likelihood of winning. Give me a percentage.
I'm kind of split on it. Let me tell you why, Pat, because I think that we're going in such a bad direction right now under the leadership that we have right now, and it's just obvious. This is not an opinion; it's mathematical facts. That we're pushing so hard that we're realizing. I think majority of Americans are realizing. Elon Musk said it best: the left is losing the middle, right? So I think we're pushing so hard on one side.
The left is losing the middle.
Losing the middle. Elon Musk quoted that. He's literally. He tweeted that. So I think that there's two parts to it. If they don't push hard enough, there's a maybe 80% chance. But if they push too hard, people are going to realize that we're under really bad leadership. Like, I don't think they realize that right now, right? So once they realize that we're losing all battles at the border with global trade, with the economy, with the stock, I mean, we're losing every battle. And America's losing every battle. And you don't have to agree with it. Look at the numbers. If you don't agree, it's because you don't look at the numbers. If they push hard enough, I think people are going to wake up and we're going to rebound from this on a hard way on the other side. But if people are still naive and dumb and they're not realizing how bad they're being affected, then there's an 80% chance she'll be president in the next 40 years. Unfortunately.
Give me a percentage. 5%.
No,
80%.
Because you sold me on the idea that victims are the best recruiters.
Hands down. They are by far,
you told me that 3 years
historically.
ago. You said victims are the best recruiters. And I'm like, you're right. So I think that she's going to
80%.
80%.
Unbelievable. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, shout out to Ricky. He's passionate. He's fired up. He's really going in. I don't think he's a fan of AOC. I don't know if you can tell that. So 80% I think is aggressive, bro. I'm thinking,
Nobody thought Trump was going to be president. Look at that.
Look, let's talk about track record here. She might not even be 35 by the time the election comes up. So I think it's just, before I get to my prediction.
In the next 40 years.
Yeah, but let me just
40 years.
Okay, well, let me just, you went on a diatribe here. Let me give my diatribe and then
we go.
Okay.
And then I'll go. Look, she hasn't done shit in her career, okay? She's a representative. When's the last time a senator, other than Barack Obama, has been elected president, okay? Kennedy? I don't know who else. So, a representative. She's big in New York. People in New York like her. That's great. You got to win something bigger than your district to actually become president. So, look, we're talking 4 years away, and she might not even be eligible to even run at that point. I think we're way ahead of schedule. We're even talking about her. Let's get through the midterms. Yeah, I don't think she's
how do you figure?
I don't think she's anywhere near qualified whatsoever.
The last
hey, player, let me talk here, bro. I'll fucking button down another button, bro. I'll go down another fucking button.
But that doesn't make sense what you're saying, though.
I don't think she's qualified to even consider running whatsoever.
The
I don't
last
think
two
she's going to go.
presidents was one per term senator, and the other one wasn't even a senator.
Listen,
we've already seen it happen
Ricardo,
twice, back to back.
Oíste, okay?
All right. Go ahead.
So,
your fans need to hear from you too.
Exactly. Listen, it's way too early to even suggest she's polling at 2%. She's fun. She gets the
likelihood.
She's nice to look at.
Still haven't answered the question.
Likelihood that she would become president in the next 40 years. I'll give her 10%.
That's high, by the way. Just so you know, just the fact that you're saying 10%.
I'm high at 10%. Ricardo's throwing 80, and he's reasonable.
What I'm saying to you is just the fact that you think in the next 40
years.
I get that. What I'm trying to tell you is it's a real conversation.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like it is real.
Yeah.
You understand? It is.
She's got name recognition.
Okay, so now let me give you the follow-up question. That's where I've been trying to get into for this entire time. Today is 2046. Okay?
Yeah.
Today's 2046. Your president is AOC.
Hell
what does America look like? Go there. By the way, 2046 is 25 years from now. She is only 56 years old. What does America look like?
Well, let's establish what her life looks like first before we can go to America. Number one, she's single. She's a waitress. She hasn't made any money. She hasn't done anything in her career.
I just told you 25 years from now.
Okay, exactly. So at that point, she would presumably be married, have some kids. Potentially her outlook on life would change. Not everything is stagnant. Things change. She might develop her views. The world might be a different place. So give people a little credit to the fact that their perspectives might change. You weren't always a capitalist. You weren't always a Democrat. You were reasonable at some point, I presume.
I'm not reasonable now?
No, I say more. You're a little.
Let me ask you a
right.
question. Let me ask you a question. Is the argument of socialism reasonable?
I don't. Is the argument
on
reasonable?
Socialism reasonable?
Is the argument reasonable, or is the concept reasonable?
Whatever.
Any argument is reasonable.
No.
Having a debate is reasonable.
Is a person who
to establish what the facts are.
Is a person who believes in, like, I can see a Democrat switch into independent. Like John Stossel went from, hey, I'm the guy that's exposing all these businesses. Finally, one day I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm helping consumer affairs. more than I am small business owners, and I'm making fun of these guys, and they're losing their businesses.
Okay.
There's no way I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a libertarian. He flips. But he
Yeah.
went from a center-left John F. Kennedy type of a Democrat to what? A libertarian. He didn't flip to be a Republican.
Right.
What is the likelihood of AOC changing that much philosophically the next 24 years?
Well, I'll tell you, if she has any chances of, to answer your question specifically, becoming the president for the masses, she better flip and flip.
I don't think you're. I don't.
She's
think,
not going to win being that far left.
Wait.
She's not.
Wait. She's not going to win being that far left.
Correct.
Okay. I have a whole different view on this, but Ricky, I'm going to go to you. You still haven't answered my question for me.
No, I mean,
I asked you if 2045 AOC is the 2046 AOC is the president. She's 55, 56 years old. What does America look like?
I'll tell you, we'll have a lot of flipping debt, way
What
more
else?
than we have now.
What else will
for
America
sure.
look like?
No, as far
They're
as
gonna come
as far
after
as-
Ricky's 40 guns.
But first of all, before I continue to say,
Are
that
you
she's-
picking up Ricky's audio? I want to make sure the mic is picking up his audio.
So,
Okay, go ahead.
so to touch on your point real quick, and then I'll go to PBD's question. No, she's not going to change. Maxine Waters hasn't changed. Nancy Pelosi hasn't changed. Bernie Sanders hasn't changed. These people have not changed. These people don't change because they have to follow a narrative. Okay, that's the only way they could win the votes, because they have to follow the narrative. Even if, by the way, she said that at the border, the crisis that we have at the border right now, even though it's worse than when we had it with Trump, she said that it had to do with climate change. That's literally what she said. So she has to. She's going to continue with their narrative, because that's the only way she's going to continue to get voted in. She needs to vote the victims need to keep voting her in. But what do we look like as a country? You have AOC as a president. We're definitely going to have our debt's going to be through the roof. What you said, Adam. Definitely will not have any guns. Definitely will not have any guns. She's going to run out all the capitalists and all the business owners out of the country. They'll end up in another country. And the company we're going to go into, it will be she stays around long enough, these ideas stay around long enough. And by the way, it's anybody, if you're listening to this and you think this cannot happen to America, you are naive. The world has had 7 world powers, Pat. America is the 7th world power. So Rome fell, and there was one point that there was a saying that said that the sun never set on the Roman Empire. Rome fell, Babylon fell, Great Britain fell. All these countries have fallen. What goes up must come down. So to believe and sit here and listen to us and say, oh, that'll never happen here, you are literally naive. You did not pay attention in history class and never picked up a history book. But yeah, we'd be destroyed as a country, and there would be another America somewhere else. Because
would we though? So let's go there. Let's go there.
Yeah.
Let's go there and say and if she wins, she's not going to be a 1-term president. She'll be a 2-term president.
No, she'll be 2-term.
2-term because
Okay.
let's speculate. This is all purely speculation. What happens afterwards? So does it push back so far that do we go back to being far right? Where is America after AOC?
Can you recover even if you go far
That's
right?
what I'm
the
asking.
question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could recover.
Let's look at history, and I think that was
Yeah.
a great point you made about the empires of civilization. Every 8 years, the pendulum swings. It's a reason why you go from a Reagan to a Bush to a
Yeah.
Clinton, and you go
Yeah.
from a Clinton to a Bush, and you go from a Bush to a Obama, and you go from Obama to a Trump, and a Trump to a Biden. It's the same old narrative that we've had, even before Reagan. You had a Jimmy Carter, and you had a Gerald Ford, and you had a Nixon, and you had a LBJ. It's the same old theme. And every 4 years, every 8 years, that's why a president runs on change. Change. Barack Obama ran on change. Trump ran on change. Biden ran on, they gotta get the orange monster out of here. We gotta change things. Every 8 years, people run on change. It's the most common theme ever when it comes to elections. So God forbid an AOC becomes into power, somebody that Ricky wholeheartedly believes in will come in, and the whole country will rally around them and say, all right, we've had too much left.
Let me
Let's
ask you.
get right.
Maybe.
Vanessa,
What happened?
can you just turn me up a little bit?
Let me ask you a different question. Here's a different question for you. You ever been robbed at gunpoint?
I have not, no.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
I had a gun pointed at me, not robbed, but yeah.
You had a gun
Multiple
pointed at
times.
you. Okay.
I've had a gun pointed at me, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
By a cop.
Fine. Okay. So all 3 of us. Now, do you think what's the likelihood of you having somebody robbing you at gunpoint
It's
What's
likely.
the likelihood?
between now and the day you
But
die?
For Ricky?
No,
it's
for
probably
you.
a lot higher than me.
Between now and your end of days, what's the likelihood of that happening?
Is my shirt open or no?
Give me any percentage.
1%.
1%. Okay, fair enough. Okay. What's the likelihood of you getting into a terrible car accident?
25%.
You? I don't think so.
Me personally?
No, I think it's
if my Uber driver's drunk,
1%.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's 1%.
2%.
What's the 2%? What's the likelihood of a empire falling, America falling? What's the likelihood of an empire falling?
Pretty damn high.
Yeah.
Really?
Historically.
I'm asking you, what do you think?
20%.
Okay, you say what?
I'd say at least 40 to 50%.
Okay, I think it's inevitable. It's just a matter of, is it 100 years from now, 500 years
Yes.
from now, 1,000? I think it's 100% if you ask me.
Yes, that's true.
Because a 5
Yeah.
billion infinity, I think it's eventually going to fall, right?
Right.
So what is really the responsibilities of the citizen of that era? What is our responsibility? The responsibility of the citizens of our era today, 2021, is to make sure this generation is not the one that falls.
Right.
Neither next or the following, because we have what? Kids
Kids and
grandkids.
grandkids, yes.
So our job is to keep that going for 2 more generations. It's why we have to care about it. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.